Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to yet another edition of Ranking the Albums. Today, by popular request, all right, people have been requesting this one for a long time. I'm going to tackle my favorite albums of David Bowie. No, I'm not ranking the whole catalog because he's got like 1 million studio albums, and quite frankly, a lot of the I've listened sporadically to some of the latter period stuff. We're talking like, the 90s and the 2000s, and he's got so many of them, and a lot in the late 80s. And, there's some I haven't heard. There's some I have kind of like, I've heard a few times, but I don't have the kind of history with. So rather than me trying to go and give like cursory listens to the couple that I haven't heard and try to, give a few more listens to the ones I've heard sporadically, I decided to just do a top 10 and a couple honorable mentions of the ones that I feel are the go-to albums in his discography, okay? For someone who's been, listening to Bowie for, on and off for a good chunk of my life, right? I do like a lot of his stuff. Obviously, his 70s and a couple of his 80s albums are real classics. So, but, there's so many of them that it's interesting which ones are making up my list and which ones aren't. So let's get started. So I'm going to start off with my number 10. I'm going to work my way to number 1. And this is hard because, a lot of these albums are just really great, and my order could change at any given time. So it's like I don't get too held up in exactly where they fit in my top 10. But my top 10 are my top 10. It's just a matter of, today one comes in at number 9, one comes in at number 10. Next week I could flip-flop them, but, they're all great albums, I think. So number 10, I'm going to go with 1977's Heroes. We could be heroes. Just for one day. Good album. This, of course, he's got like these periods that he went through. There's the early glam stuff, right? Then there's the experimental, the German phase, and then goes into pop. Bowie's kind of, like they said, they call him the musical chameleon for a reason. He's kind of been all over the place. He goes through the kind of the funk R&B period. Here, Heroes is kind of like sitting in, the middle of this whole, the German phase, right? The experimental phase here. Some great songs on here, though. You got, the title track, obviously. You got The Secret Life of Arabia, Beauty and the Beast, Sense of Doubt, Songs of the Silent Age. Just top to bottom, really good. This is not glammy Bowie. This is kind of serious Bowie. This is experimental Bowie, but no less captivating Bowie. And how about that album cover, right? Pretty cool. Next up, number 9, 1975's Young American. So here's the kind of the white soul period. All right. Title track, obviously legendary. I love the song Fame. Fame is great. You got Win and Fascination is really good. Someone Up There Likes Me. The whole album is just really good. It's kind of just good, soulful, funky, bluesy rock music. All right. Much different than what came right before it. Much different than what would come right after it. That's what was so great about Bowie. He kept you kind of on your toes at all times. So here's an interesting one. So this is from 1980. This is Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. So this album was, getting a lot of notice when I was really, really starting to, branch out into all sorts of different kinds of music. So, for the 3 or 4 years prior to this time period, I listened to a lot of Kiss, listened to the Eagles and a bit of ELO and Steve Miller Band, and, very Kansas and Meatloaf and various other bands. But, by this time period, I was starting to, move into heavier music, Black Sabbath and Deep Purple and Rainbow and eventually Iron Maiden, Priest, Scorpions, all that kind of stuff. Zeppelin certainly was into already. And I remember thinking, starting to see the videos for this album and starting to think, it's kind of heavy, but not in more like kind of like the feel of the music. It's not like those big heavy riffs. You got Robert Fripp on here playing some cool guitar, and some just really kind of like just the vibe of this album is just really kind of creepy and heavy. It's No Game. We got the 2 parts booking in the album. You got Ashes to Ashes. Always loved that song. Up the Hill Backwards. Teenage Wildlife. Just a lot of really, really great stuff on here. The title track, of course, is just really chilling. Another kind of really different album from him with lots of different textures as, he's making his way into the 80s. And, of course, he would kind of do a complete about-face from this not long afterwards for my number 7, which is Let's Dance. So, and, if Bowie wasn't big before, this made him even huger. So here we got Bowie fully embracing pop and, like just 80s, rock and pop music, right? Little touches of new wave, little touches of blues and soul. He's got Stevie Ray Vaughan on lead guitar on this album, which just added a really cool bluesy element. These songs are just immediate. So many classics on here. I mean, this album is all over the radio. So 1984, or in 83, right? It comes out in 83, 84, I'm going to college, and just you can't turn the radio on or turn on MTV without seeing David Bowie all over, all right? So, you got Modern Love, China Girl, Let's Dance, right? Cat People, and that's not even talking about Without You, Ricochet, Criminal World, and Shake It, right? It's just a big up-tempo, lots of cool rhythms, lots of great melodies, just really ultra-memorable songs. And I know there are some people who probably this album is completely played out, but I have fond memories of this album. This was, kind of like a really big deal. And, all those songs are really great. It's all about the songs there, right? Next up, 1974 is Diamond Dogs, coming in at number 6 with that totally weird cover, right? I remember, my cousins getting this LP, right, going to visit them one weekend when my parents and my brother went to go visit my aunt and uncle and my cousins, and they pulled this album out. I was thinking, I'm like, alrighty, that's kind of strange. And of course, if you look at the back, David's body is, of course, a dog, and thinking, wow, that's weird. He's looking kind of weird. But, this is David in his little kind of in the glam period, just about coming to an end. Got the androgynous look there, right? But some fantastic songs on here. Future Legend, absolutely amazing. Diamond Dogs, great song. Sweet Thing, all right, another one of his classics. You got Candidate, Rebel, of course, a really memorable, legendary song. Rock and Roll With Me, We Are the Dead, 1984. Love 1984. Big Brother, Chant of the Ever Circling Skeletal Family. I mean, it's just, could rank even higher. It's one of those things where catch me on any given day, and this might be, coming in at number 3 or 4 or something like that. It's that good. It's that good. But, the ones coming above it are just, Hunky Dory from 1971. I mean, changes. I mean, what a way to kick off an album, right? Oh, You Pretty Things. Heart-tugging, gorgeous song. All right, Life on Mars. It's incredible songs on here. Quicksand. Andy Warhol. Queen Bitch. I mean, song for Mr. Dylan, right? Song for Bob Dylan. I mean, just, not quite into the glam period. We're almost there. So it's kind of like, moving in that direction. Still a little bit of the folky kind of singer-songwriter stuff going on here, but some really, really great songwriting there. Number 4 for me, I love this album. Again, could rank higher. 1976, Station to Station. Again, this is that period, right? That experimental period in the mid-70s. No, actually, later 70s, I guess you could say. Man, love this album. Hanging out with Brian Eno, doing all this kind of weird avant-garde, experimental electronic stuff, and just, really, really good, chilling, kind of steely rock music, right? You got Station to Station, the title track, amazing. Golden Years, got Word on a Wing, I absolutely adore. TVC-15. That, to me, was always kind of like this weird kind of futuristic song. Oh, my TVC-15, oh, TVC-15. You got Stay, killer song, Wild as the Wind. I mean, this is some seriously good stuff. This may not be the kind of hit material, easy listening Bowie, but who cares? Doesn't need to be. Great stuff. All right, number 3. I'm going to go with 1973's Aladdin Sane. Yeah. I mean, right in the middle of the glam period. This is just David and the Spiders, right? The Ziggy period. Just, Watch That Man. Terrific title track. Drive-In Saturday. Panic in Detroit. I mean, get Mick Ronson on guitar. Trevor Bolder. I mean, Panic in Detroit is great. Cracked actor. Great. Time, The Prettiest Star, Let's Spend the Night Together, of course, a remake of the Rolling Stone classic. The Jean Genie, right? Lady Grinning Soul. I mean, this is, again, I almost had this as my number 2. And for some people, this might be their number one. This is my top three are just so good. They all happen to be from the same period. I really like the glam era, right? Number two, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars from 1972. What more needs to be said about this absolute classic album? 5 Years, Moon Age Daydream, Starman. Starman. Unbelievable. Ain't It Easy, Lady Stardust, Ziggy Stardust, Suffragette City, Rock and Roll Suicide, and others. Classic album. Can't tell you how great of a guitar player Mick Ronson was, and just a perfect fit for Bowie. The two of them are like a marriage made in heaven. And my number one album, though, some of these other albums might have a lot more memorable tracks. I always love the kind of go for the throat, like just raw energy of The Man Who Sold the World from, 1971. This marks the beginning of Bowie's glam period. This album, you could even call this some like kind of proto-heavy metal stuff going on in this album. A lot of heavy riffing from Mr. Ronson. You got The Width of a Circle, which just absolutely kicks ass. You got All the Madmen, Black Country Rock, cranking song. You got After All, Running Gun Blues, The Great Savior Machine. What else? She Shook Me Cold, the title track, The Man Who Sold the World, which is totally haunting. Nirvana would go and remake that song years and years later to lots of acclaim. The Supermen, just a really good, raw, heavy rockin' album that never gets old. Never gets old. And again, you've got Bowie wearing like dress on the front, right? Very interesting. But and a great album for Mick Ronson if you want to hear his wonderful guitar work. That's one of my favorites. So there you have it. How about some honorable mentions, right? So gotta give an honorable mention to 2002's Heathen. I like that album a lot. Again, Bowie in the modern day, not kind of trying to fit in with any trends or fads or right now. Just a really cool album. A lot of really good moody songs. I saw him live on that tour. Black Star from 2016. The last thing he ever did before he passed away. Also, kind of like sounds weird for 2016, but again, Bowie never like conforms to anything. So definitely Black Star, I think, kind of pulls some elements from his late 70s stuff. It's just really kind of the really haunting material. Weird electronica stuff going on, some cool guitar things happening, and his vocals just ever the musical chameleon, right? And not one of those albums just brimming with hits, because that's not what he has been all about for all these years. 1977's Low, another album from the German years. Really good, really experimental album. Like even more experimental than Station to Station. Lodger from 79. Excuse me. Another really cool album. Late 70s album. Again, not very commercial sounding, but still some really, really great songs. And, you got to give a little bit of a nod to Space Odyssey from 69. I find, parts of Space Odyssey to be kind of like, a little bland for me, but, the title track is just absolutely amazing. And there are some, songs on there which kind of hint at things to come. So it's got its early charm to it. And like I said, there's other good albums, but those are kind of like my next in line honorable mentions there. But I'll recap my list. The Man Who Sold the World coming in at number 1. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, number 2. Aladdin Sane, number 3. Station to Station, number 4. Number 5 is Hunky Dory. Number 6, Diamond Dogs. Number 7, Let's Dance. Number 8, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. Number 9, Young Americans. And number 10, we're going to go with Heroes. So those are my 10 favorite David Bowie albums. Your mileage may vary. I know we got a lot of Bowie fans on here. I'm sure he's got so many albums, got close to 30. And I'm sure we're going to see all sorts of different configurations in the comments section. That's the way it should be. So let's hear your favorite 10 or top 5, top 10, top 15, whatever you want to do. David Bowie albums. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer. We all kind of hear and love these albums a little bit differently. So I think we can all agree, though, a great career with lots of really, really cool albums. So this is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and of course we're here on YouTube all the damn time. If you like what you see, please click on the Ko-Fi link in the video description. Buy us a coffee, a tea, or a mug of beer, whatever you like, whatever you can do is greatly appreciated. We've also got a link to our merch page, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, mugs, stickers, the whole shebang, as well as the direct link to our webzine, where you can see close to 23,000 album and CD reviews from over the last almost 20 years. All right, so go and check it out. We got lots of new reviews popping up this week, so lots of new stuff on there as well. So we'll see you guys real soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye.